Today we shall start a new chapter, Current Electricity, which is the third chapter of volume 1 of NCERT syllabus. Now first of all, let us know some basics before knowing what is meant by electric current. We know that whenever we consider a charge q, and if this charge is at rest, in the region around this charge always there will be electric field. A charge at rest produces electrostatic field. So this we already know. Suppose if there is an electric field, say for example I consider uniform electric field. In this electric field E, if I place a charge q, either a positive charge or a negative charge, then we know that the charge experiences force due to this electric field, and that force is given by F equal to Q into E. This also we know. Suppose if the charge is set into motion in a magnetic field, let us know that also. If there is a magnetic field B, if we make a charge q to move with a velocity v such that the magnetic field B and the velocity, both these are vector quantities, they make an angle theta with each other. So in a magnetic field, if I make the charge to move with a velocity v, then the force acting on this charge is given by QVB sin theta, which is known as Lorentz magnetic force. So just look into three different situations now. Suppose if I consider a metallic conductor, say for example I am going to consider one copper rod or aluminum rod or an iron rod. Why should I consider metal? Because we know that in case of metals, plenty of free electrons are available. Suppose if this is the atom and if this is the nucleus, so plenty of free electrons are available, and also in metals, atoms are closely spaced. The outermost orbit electrons are not attached to any one of the parent atom. That means, suppose if I consider this as the outermost orbit and the electron of this atom now keeps moving from atom to atom, that means it keeps jumping like this from atom to atom. Same thing happens for the electron of this atom also. So this electron now, it may move either toward this atom or it may move toward this atom. That means each electron of each atom keeps moving from atom to atom, and these electrons are known as free electrons. The valence electron itself is known as free electron. So like this, plenty of free electrons are available. Suppose if we make these electrons to move in one particular direction, then the motion of these electrons known as free electrons give rise to a current. What is the actual meaning of current? The actual meaning of current is nothing but flow. Usually we say water current, means water flow. So it's like that. What is meant by then electric current? Electric current means it is nothing but the flow of charges or the motion of charges. Motion of charges from one point to another point, or motion of charges in a substance gives rise to electric current. So now let us define what is meant by electric current. We know that when charge is at rest, it produces electric field. But when the same charge is set into motion, suppose Q, if this charge is set into motion, then what does it produces? The charge in motion always produces magnetic field. It produces magnetic field. Now, if we make these electrons to move in a streamline, that means in a regular order from one end of the conductor to other end of the conductor, then the motion of these electron gives rise to current, nothing but electric current. So, electric current is defined as rate of flow of electric charges. But where does this charge flow? So the charge may flow either in a metallic conductor or inside a chemical solution, that means through electrolytes, or the charges may flow even through gases. So flow of electric charges through metallic conductors, through electrolytic substances, and also through gases always gives rise to current, and that itself is nothing but electric current. So current flow, electric means related to charges, electric charges. Now here, these electrons now, they keep moving in random direction. They do not follow one regular order. But when does the electron moves from one orbit to, from atom of one orbit to atom of another orbit? Only when these electron gain some energy. Unless these electron gain some energy, they do not leave the orbits of that particular atom. Then how do they gain energy? They gain energy here because of room temperature. So the room temperature is sufficient to provide energy to these electrons, and these electrons are loosely bound to the nucleus. That means the force of attraction between the electron and the nucleus is not so strong, because these are the electrons which are present in the outermost orbit. So these electrons require small amount of energy just to get detached from this atom, and that energy is provided by means of room temperature. But these electrons, unless they move in streamline, they do not produce electric current. Remember this. Motion of the electron inside a metallic conductor in a random direction do not constitute any current. That means, suppose if I consider a metallic rod, say for example I consider copper rod. Okay. Now, if there is an electron here, if this electron moves like this, electron of one of the atom, and if there is one more electron which moves like this in this direction, I already told you that plenty of free electrons are available in metallic conductors. So one electron may move like this, and another electron may move like this, one more electron may move like this may move like this electron like this. They move in different direction. So if they move in different direction, then here the motion of the electrons in this random direction do not constitute any current. That means do not produce any current in this metallic rod. We must make these electrons to move in a regular order. That means we must make these electrons to move in a streamline from one end of the conductor to another end of the conductor. Then only current is said to be produced inside the conductor. For that, what we do means, we apply one electric field to this conductor. How do you apply the electric field? Just by connecting the two ends of the metallic rod either to a battery or to a cell. What are the sources of electric current? The sources of electric current are nothing but battery, okay, cell, generator, or dynamos. So these are the sources of electric current. Cell is of different types. chemical cell, that means electrolytic cell is there, dry cell is also there. So dry cell and electrolytic cell. Similarly, battery means group of cells, more than one cell always forms a battery. This is the circuit symbol of a battery, whereas this is the circuit symbol of a cell. Okay. Now, when we connect this, now what happens? Electric field is set up inside the conductor. Look here. An electric field is set up inside the conductor. As a result of electric field that is set up inside this conductor, what happens means these electrons now begins to move in a regular order. Let us write one more diagram to understand this. So this is the metallic conductor. I applied the electric field. How electric field is applied? By connecting this rod to a battery. Now the current starts flowing. Remember, the direction of the current is always taken from positive terminal to negative terminal. Understand? So this is the electric current which is represented by I. As soon as the current starts flowing through the conductor, electric field is set up inside the conductor. Due to this electric field now, these electrons which are initially moving in random direction when before applying, that means before connecting this rod to the battery, these electrons are said to be moving in random direction. Soon after connecting the rod to the battery, the electrons now begins to move opposite to the electric field. Why means this electric field exerts the force on each of the electron. Exerts the force on each of the electron. Now this electron begins to accelerate. In the direction opposite to that of the electric field, and now the motion of this electron in a streamline or in a regular order gives rise to current in this conductor. So this is how the current can be produced in a metallic conductor. Here, what is the force acting on each electron? As we know that force acting on each electron is given by F equal to Q into E. If more and more electron flows, then the strength of the current in this conductor will be I. If less number of electron flows, then the strength of the current is low. We come across now here different types of current. What are the different types of current? The different types of current are like this. Types of current. Steady current. Steady current. Okay. Then, second one. First of all, we shall know what is meant by steady current. Suppose through a conductor, metallic conductor, say for example, now here afterwards, I represent conductor like this. This is the circuit symbol of a resistor, which is nothing but a metallic wire. Circuit symbol of metallic wire is represented like this. The technical word to this is resistor. Okay. Now, through this wire, suppose every second from one end of the wire to another end of the wire, every second, say for example in first second, if 2 coulombs of charge flows from end A to end B of the metallic conductor or the metallic wire. So this is metallic conductor or wire I consider. Again in the next 1 second, 2 coulomb of charge only flows from A to B. Again in the third second, that means in the next 1 second, once again if 2 coulomb of charge flows, then we say that the current through this conductor or the current through this wire is said to be steady. Okay. Then mathematically, how do you find the strength of the current? See, the strength of the current can be represented like this. First of all, this is the mathematical equation. That means rate of flow of electric charges. We can have now time rate of flow. Time rate of flow of electric charges through a conductor or through any cross section of a conductor. Cross section refers to small portion. Say for example, I consider a small portion of this conductor. Imagine the small portion. Through this, every 1 second, how much of charge that flows? Every 1 second, how much of charge that flows? That's nothing but the current. So that's nothing but the current through this cross section or current through this conductor. So mathematically it is given by I equal to Q by T. Now coming to the steady current, in 1 second, what the time now? 1 second. What the amount of charge that flows? 2 coulomb. Now what is the strength of the current now? The strength of the current is 2 units. 2 unit. Okay. Again in the next 1 second. Next 1 second. What the amount of charge that flows? 2. Again the strength of the current is 2 unit. Again in the next 1 second. 2 coulomb of charge flows. The strength of the current is 2 unit. So like this, from one end of the conductor to another end of the conductor, if the magnitude of the charge, magnitude means quantity of the charge flowing every second, if it remains to be same, if it remains to be same, then such a current is known as steady current. Graphically, I can represent the steady current like this. Look here, along x-axis I consider time, along y-axis I consider current. Okay. After 1 second, let us consider this is 1 ampere, 2 ampere, 3 ampere. Then what is ampere? Ampere is the SI unit used to measure the strength of the current. I wrote here 2 unit. 2 unit means nothing but 2 ampere. So that's the SI unit used to measure the current, ampere. So after 1 second, what the current? 2 ampere. Again after next 1 second, what the current? 2 ampere. Next 1 second, 2 ampere. Look here, 1 second, 2 second, 3 second. First 1 second, what's the current? 2 ampere. Next 1 second, what's the current? 2 ampere. Next 1 second, that means in the third second, first second, second second, third second. Again, even in the third second, the current is 2 ampere. So this is how the graph appears to be for a steady current. It is found to be straight line parallel to x-axis or time axis. So graphical way of representing this. So remember, current is defined as the time rate of flow of charges from one end of the conductor to another end of the conductor, or the amount of charge that flows through every cross section or any cross section. Cross section means small portion of the conductor. The second type of current, let's consider varying current. What does it mean? Suppose, once again I consider the same metallic conductor or wire. Two ends of the wire are A and B. Suppose in first second, if the amount of charge that flows is 2 coulomb. In the next 1 second, if the amount of charge that flows is, say for example, 4 coulomb. In the next 1 second, that means in the third second, amount of charge that flows through the conductor, say for example, if it is of 6 coulomb. 2 coulomb first second, 4 coulomb second second, and 6 coulomb third second. Then what's the current through this conductor? So the current through the conductor now is I equal to Q by T. Q is nothing but equal to 2 divided by 1, 2 ampere. In the first second, through this conductor corresponding to this charge, 2 ampere current flows. Next 1 second, what the amount of charge that flows? 4 coulomb. 4 divided by 1. Next 1 second, the amount of charge that is flowing is 4 coulomb, 4 by 1. So it is nothing but equal to 4 ampere. In the next 1 second, that means in the third second, amount of charge that flows is 6 coulomb. Now it is 6 ampere. So that means every second the magnitude of the charge flowing through the conductor is different. Therefore, the amount of current flowing from one end to another end is also different. Such a current is known as varying current, and this varying current may increase or decrease. Say for example, in the fourth 1 second, the amount of charge that flows may be just 1 coulomb. Then what is the current in 4 seconds flowing through this conductor? It is 1 by 1 equal to 1 ampere. So the current through this conductor may keep changing either increasingly or decreasingly. So both increasing current and decreasing current are considered as varying current. So such a varying current can be represented graphically like this. So this is increasing current, okay, this is decreasing current, both are varying. So increasing and as well as decreasing. Along x-axis we consider time, along y-axis we consider current. Now the next type of current is direct current. Represented as DC. What is meant by direct current? Suppose now, if I consider once again the conductor, let the two ends of the conductor be connected to the two terminals of a cell or a battery. Now the current starts flowing from positive terminal to negative terminal. Now the direction of the current remains to be same. As long as we keep passing the current through this wire or through this circuit, this also known as circuit, simple circuit. Just I connect the two ends to the two terminals, it forms a simple circuit. If the magnitude of the current throughout this circuit remains same every second, and even if the direction remains same, direction is from positive terminal to negative terminal, such a current is known as direct current. 1 second, the current flowing through this circuit is 2 ampere. Next 1 second, again the current is 2 ampere. Next 1 second, the current is 2 ampere. Every second the current flows from positive to negative terminal only. From positive to negative terminal. So direction is unique, means direction is constant, it is not changing. Magnitude of the current is also not changing. So such a current is known as direct current. Next we shall consider alternating current. Alternating current. AC. So this is the current which is used commonly elsewhere for all purposes, even at our home, industries, everywhere. Elsewhere we come across alternating current. Of course direct current is also used. So in some special cases direct current is used, whereas in all general cases alternating current is used, because almost all electrical and electronic devices are designed to work for alternating current. What is meant by alternating current? Once again I consider a wire. Let us connect the two ends of the wire to an AC source. Remember, this is the circuit symbol of AC source. whereas this is DC. You have to remember the circuit diagrams also. For AC, it is like this. For DC, either like this if it is a cell, or if it is a battery, it will be like this. So these two are nothing but DC, whereas this is nothing but AC. Now what happens here, from the end 1 to the end 2, that means one end of the wire, and this is nothing but another end of the wire. Now current starts flowing from terminal 1 to terminal 2, or from end 1 to end 2, from this AC source, because this is the source of the current and it is driving the current, or it is making the current to flow through this wire. But how does this current flows? Suppose from terminal 1 to terminal 2, let us say if the maximum current that flows through the wire is of 3 ampere, then how does it flows? From 1 to 2, what happens is the current goes on increasing. How does it increases? When the current starts flowing from terminal 1 to terminal 2 through this wire, then 0 will become 1 ampere, 1 ampere will become 2 ampere, 2 ampere will become 3 ampere, again 3 will become 2, 2 will become 1, and 1 ampere finally becomes 0. See, this is what which happens when the current flows from end 1 to end 2 through this wire. So 0 becomes 1, 1 to 2 ampere, 2 to 3 ampere, 3 to 2 ampere, 2 to 1 ampere, 1 ampere to 0. Suppose if the current starts flowing from 2 to 1, now in the reverse direction, same thing happens now. The current starts flowing now like this, 0 to 1 ampere, 1 to 2, 2 to 3, 3 to 2, 2 to 1, 1 to 0. It will be like this. So, maximum current 3 ampere. What happens? It increases from 0 to maximum and again it becomes 0 during off cycle. Off cycle means while flowing from 1 to 2. During another off cycle, again same thing happens. Current increases from 0 to maximum, maximum to 0. In short, I can write like this. While flowing from 1 to 2, what happens? 0 to 3 ampere, 3 ampere to 0. While flowing from terminal 1 to terminal 2. Again, while flowing from terminal 2 to terminal 1. Terminal means ends of the wire, or the two terminals of the AC source. Again, while flowing from 2 to 1, the current flows in such a way that from 0 it becomes maximum, again from maximum it becomes 0. Okay. If the time taken for the current to flow from 1 to 2, is, say for example 0.5 microsecond. Again the time taken by the same current to flow from 2 to 1, will be 0.5 microsecond. Micro means 10 to the power of minus 6. That means what is happening in this? The magnitude of the current is not remaining same. It is varying from 0 to maximum, maximum to 0. Also, the direction of the current is also changing. It is from 1 to 2 for 0.5 microsecond and 2 to 1 for another 0.5 microsecond. This is just one assumed value. So, both the magnitude of the current and the direction of the current are changing. Direction of the current is changing alternately. How alternately? 1 to 2 clockwise during this time interval. Again 2 to 1 anti-clockwise, the same time interval. When it flows from 1 to 2, we call this as off cycle. If it flows from 2 to 1, we call this as another off cycle. Half cycle plus half cycle, totally it forms one complete cycle. So this type of current where magnitude and direction changes alternately, magnitude varies from 0 to maximum, maximum to 0. So this current is nothing but alternating current. Graphically, how do you represent this direct current and as well as alternating current? I represent both in the same graph. Look here, I, and this is nothing but T. Suppose if the direct current is like this, direct current, steady current, no change in the magnitude of the current remains to be same every second. Whereas for AC, look here, it will be like this. So this is nothing but the alternating current waveform. Look here, this is during positive half cycle, negative half cycle, this forms one complete cycle. Cycle 1, cycle 2, then half cycle. Totally 2.5 cycles are there according to this figure. Positive half cycle means, for example, 1 to 2. Negative half cycle means current flowing from 2 to 1. So this is how we can represent the waveform. This is for AC and this is for DC. So if you mind, we can write here itself. Okay. Now these are the different types of current. So far we discussed steady current, magnitude of the flow of charge through a conductor or through a circuit every second remains same. 1 per second 2 coulombs, second 2 coulombs, third second 2 coulombs. If that's the situation, it always gives rise to a steady current, constant current. Varying current, magnitude of the flow of the charge through a conductor means through a wire or through a circuit changes every second. It can change either in an increasing way or in a decreasing manner. So that gives rise to varying current. Every second it keeps changing. Direct current, magnitude and direction of the current remains same. No change in the magnitude of the current means strength of the current, and no change in the direction of the current. So that always gives rise to a direct current, and this is the graphical form of direct current. Then alternating current, magnitude of the current changes periodically and direction changes alternately. That means once the current flows from A to B during this time interval, again in the next same time interval the direction of the current will be from B to A. Remember, in any AC circuit or for AC current, the direction of the current should not be specified, it should not be mentioned. Suppose if the current flowing through this conductor is DC, then we can specify or represent the current direction. For AC, we cannot do like that, because for AC, direction changes from A to B, B to A, A to B, B to A. So no direction should be mentioned for alternating current. Now let us know the different type of charge carriers in different substances. What are charge carriers? Charge carriers are nothing but electric charges which are responsible for the flow of electric current, or which are responsible for electric conduction. So charge carriers, in case of metals, what are the charge carriers? In case of metals, the charge carriers are nothing but free electrons. Free electrons are responsible for electric conduction, because the motion of the free electron constitutes the electric current through a metallic conductor. Okay, if the current is flowing like this, then the flow of electron will be opposite to this current. We shall discuss about this. We call this current as conventional current, whereas the flow of electron will be always opposite to the conventional current. So these free electrons are responsible for this current in metals. Therefore, free electron becomes charge carriers in metals. Then, in case of semiconductors, semiconductors are the substance which allows the current to flow through them partially, whereas conductors are the substance which allows the entire charge to flow through it. That's the difference. In semiconductor, only partial amount of current, that means partial amount of charge will flow, whereas in case of metallic conductor, entire amount of current, almost majority of the current will flow in case of metallic conductor. For metallic conductor, we can give too many examples. Metals means all metals. All metals. For metallic conductor, example, all metals, and as well as even including mercury, which is a liquid metal. Semiconductor, example for semiconductor are nothing but germanium, silicon. So these are the two best examples. Of course, too many examples are there. Let us consider two good examples, germanium and silicon. Through semiconductors, which are the charge carriers in semiconductors, means they are nothing but holes and as well as electrons. Holes are like positive charge, like positive charges, but they are not charges. Holes are not charges, but they are like positive charges. So two types of charge carriers are responsible for electric conduction in semiconductors, like germanium and as well as silicon and other semiconductors. Then the third one is about the charge carriers in chemical substances. Say for example, in chemical solutions or in electrolytes. Electrolytes are chemical solutions. So here we can consider too many electrolytes, say for example sodium chloride, okay, H2SO4, sulfuric acid. So in case of electrolytes, which are the charge carriers, means they are nothing but both positive and negative ions. Positive and negative ions. Say for example, if the sodium chloride dissociates into sodium positive ion and chlorine negative ion. Similarly, if H2SO4 dissociate into positive hydrogen ion and negative sulfate ion, then both hydrogen and sulfate, in this case sodium and chlorine in this case, will participate in electric conduction in case of chemical substances or chemical solutions. That means if I consider a chemical substance in a container, say for example it may be either H2SO4 or sodium chloride. Then if I apply a strong electric field to this, or if I pass the current, either you pass the current through this or you apply an electric field, then what happens? This sodium chloride now dissociates into positive and negative ions. Now positive ions will move in one direction, negative ions will move in opposite direction. Say for example sodium positive ion, if it dissociates into positive and negative, so it moves towards this side, whereas chlorine, which is considered to be negative ion, now it moves opposite side, that means it moves toward the positive side, whereas sodium moves toward the negative side. The direction of the electric field is from positive to negative. This is the direction of electric field. So here positive ion moves in the direction of electric field, whereas negative chlorine ion moves opposite to the electric field. This is the electric field direction. Sodium is moving in the direction of electric field, whereas chlorine is moving in the direction opposite to that of the electric field. Then coming to the next charge carrier, it's nothing but gases. We know that gases are nothing but insulators. In insulators, conduction of electricity is not possible because insulators do not contain any free electrons, or insulator do not contain even positive and negative ions, as we notice in case of chemical substance like electrolytes. So what we do means, suppose if the pressure of the gas is reduced and if I potential is applied to that particular gas, say for example there is a sealed tube inside which some gas is filled at low pressure. So these are nothing but the neutral gas molecules. Okay, so these are electrodes, positive and negative. Now suppose to this if I apply a high potential HT, high tension means high voltage, high potential difference, then what happen means the gas molecules, if the pressure is low, then at high potential each molecule now dissociates into positive and negative ion. So this molecule dissociates into positive and negative ion. Similarly, this molecule will also dissociate into positive and as well as negative ion. Now these ions move because of the electric field that is set up by applying high potential difference between these two electrodes. Now the positive and negative ions inside this tube begins to move and they participate. Positive ion moves in one direction, whereas negative ion moves in other direction, means opposite direction. Suppose if negative ion moves like this, positive ion moves in the opposite direction. So this is how the conduction becomes possible in case of gases. Since gases are insulator, how do we make them conducting? By reducing its pressure and applying high potential difference, high voltage to that gas molecule. Dissociates into positive and negative ion, and these ions moves in the opposite direction and participate in electric conduction. How do they move? Suppose if the direction of electric field is like this, once again, then positive ion moves in the direction of electric field, negative ion moves opposite to the direction of electric field. Suppose this is positive, this is negative. Now the direction of the electric field is always from positive terminal to negative terminal. So this is how the direction of electric field will be. All positive ions moves like this, all negative ions moves like this. So in case of gases, both positive and negative ions participate in conduction, in electric conduction. So these are the different type of charge carriers in different substances.